Welcome back everyone to Star Citizen. Today we're taking a look at the social module. This video is just going to be him walking around the entire area and showing you all the places where you can buy and sell things, speak to people, meet new people, all types of things. This is one of our first ever videos of being on the ground and actually a proper live gameplay representation. So of course this is a press video, so it's kind of refined in a way compared to the live stream that was yesterday where it showed more, things going wrong. This is more of a refined version of that. I believe it is in-game, so there's no need to worry about that. So what you're seeing is what will eventually come to us later this month, and of course this will be developed into the persistent universe whenever that is released, probably next year at some time. So the social module is kind of a fancy name for just sort of a hub on a planet where you will be landing in the persistent universe. These areas are of course like kind of stations where you can do everything that you will need to do before heading out into space. You'll of course, when you save your game in these places, you'll kind of respawn back into a default location in these hubs. And as you can see as he walks out, you can see the vastness of this current area that he's in. It's not known if you can walk past this hub point and explore areas on specific planets, and of course these hubs are probably going to be specifically made for each individual planet in the persistent universe. I imagine there's not going to be much like similarities between them apart from probably the types of stores that you're going to find there. I'm sure each one will be designed in a special way for each one. Even if it's just little differences, I'm sure there will be differences at least in there. The first building we actually get a nice little guide inside of is Chubby. This appears to be sort of a gun shop, and one thing of course that Robert Space Industries actually managed to create inside this universe is real like companies. So these Chubby might be like found across all the universe, and they might have competitors of course inside other hubs, I imagine. And as you can see, when you hover over the guns that are available in these shops, you get like a nice little animation which describes the gun and tell you ammo capacity, things like that. Also of grenade types. Everything looks really cool here, and it's a fantastic way to actually browse these guns, sorry. And if you do look quickly to the right, you can see a keep calm and carry one poster still on the right. So even this far into the future, we still have that poster around, unfortunately, and maybe fortunately for some people who still like it. So of course, in a social hub, what would you be wanting to do mainly if you're interacting with people? And of course, it is emotes. So now what we're going to see is the emotes that have currently been created for Star Citizen at the moment. We have, all the basic ones, probably crying, everything in there, and dancing. And you can actually see a preview of the chat window that would be in the game. So a lot of people have been wondering, why isn't this kind of incorporated into the HUD of the helmet and things like that? And, that has a benefit and a, well, what's the other word for that? A benefit and a negative as well to that side. If you have it incorporated in your HUD, if your helmet, then you kind of have a problem of when you walk. Your helmet obviously is separate to it. Maybe they don't want that distracting it from the text, but then again you could maybe even have an option. Do you want it incorporated in your HUD properly, or do you want it just slapped on your screen like that? I think I would personally have it slapped on the screen because it just makes it a bit more easy to read, and of course it isn't. Some things don't need to be directly like realistic, some things do. You need to make those choices in the game, obviously. And that's his interaction with those fellow people done there. So one thing you'll notice as well in this hub is the insane detail that you're looking at everywhere. You look at one place on the screen and tell me where a bit of detail hasn't gone into it. It's fascinating how much effort has gone into just the base stuff so far. It's not just, we're not getting an alpha anymore, we're getting pretty much really nice releases when these things are coming out, which is why I imagine the FPS module has been delayed so much, because I think they're worried about things being released in a bad state. They want things to come out in a state that's at least acceptable, and then they can develop further from that. I think they're worried about releasing something that's shoddy and then getting a lot of hate for it, because the press of this game is of course very big at this moment. $86 million in funding means that you have to of course come up with something to show that you've done something with that money, and releasing meh modules, even though it is alpha state, people will still not be happy with what's happening. Personally, for me, I am really happy to be able to walk around the hub and buy and sell things that are related to my spaceship and just related to me personally. I'm really hoping that there is some sort of a house or apartment that you can buy on specific hubs, and maybe even multiple locations that you can buy out in these hubs, because I would absolutely love to go in my little house and have my kind of station where I can work from and conquer anything I can conquer in this universe. It just really blows my mind that you could have a chance of doing that, and I think they're really stepping into that option of having a house or apartment where you can kind of customize it a little bit, or at least just have a hub to work from. It would be fantastic. Also, if they gave us an apartment or a house to actually buy on a hub, then it would make walking around and being that just ever more realistic. Hell, this is where I live, I'm going to go walk around, buy some stuff here. Maybe it would even create rivalries in the fact that this is my home planet. It's not just where you've spawned, it's where your house is. If a war breaks out near it, maybe you will defend that. You'll come from the other side of the universe just to specifically defend your home world. Because of course, if you spawn somewhere, you might not be as entwined with that place compared to actually having a house there. You own it, you have to defend it in any way possible because that is your home. We're heading over now to the Glock bar, so probably a main social hub. I'm worried about these types of things. Will these be busy at all when the full game is released? You know, is anyone even going to spend any time in these bars? So with these bars, I'm hoping that they can somehow incorporate a need for them to be there. Of course, it's alright just having it as a social location, but at what point do people not care about that and just leave them? You need to incorporate something. Anyway, what I was going to say was, in here was some of the best graphics I've seen in a video game ever. The detail everywhere is fantastic, and the lighting everywhere fantastic. He looks out over a skyline that is something out of a movie. This is really, really good in this part here. So hopefully in these bars, and you know, maybe even clubs and everything, you can actually interact with people on a much better level. Maybe have some mini games there. Even maybe if we're not having houses and apartments, maybe say spawning in these bars would be the best thing possible, or having mission locations in these bars. Bring us into them in a way. And maybe have like a bounty hunter sat there, you need your help with something just at the bar. Mission location should be at the bar. If you're going to incorporate these types of things, they'll probably be putting them in there for a reason. Hopefully, we're not going to have buildings that are just empty and buildings that are busy. Of course, trading locations are going to be the more busy locations, but I would like to see all locations everywhere to have a need. Moving on to Astro Armada. Now, Astro Armada, I believe, are one of the sellers of kind of ships. They'll be like your kind of Asda in the fact that they buy products from ships, ship manufacturers, and then they would sell them to you. So this is a location where you're going to be able to buy ships. Of course, I imagine there's going to be competition again. There's going to be loads of different companies selling ships, and of course, maybe you might be able to buy directly from manufacturers. I'm not too sure, but at this stage, this looks really awesome. This kind of interaction on this level, again, it's a personal level. I'm buying a specific ship. Maybe you're not even going to have an initial ship when you spawn into the universe. Maybe you have to go and collect your specific ship from the planet that you're landing on from a dealer. It'll be pretty cool to even see, and maybe of course you're not going to have to pay for it initially, but hey, it's there. As you can see, an M50 casually spinning as a show off. You can see one of these consultants probably to speak to, and apparently all these couches and everything, you're going to be able to sit on them, interact with people. Hell, there could even be like people there waiting to buy things, and you can speak to them and they'd give you recommendations on things. It'd be really cool to even not just have a look at a statistics sheet for which ship you want, but having personal opinions on ships from AI, from people speaking to you, from booklets that you can read on the in the area. Things like that would really like add to the depth of, do I want this ship or do I want this ship? Hell, before you went into that room, you maybe really wanted this ship, but because one of the AI narrators is, or AI's people that's spoken to you has maybe convinced you it's this ship that you wanted all along. It brings it away from statistics into kind of a more realistic setting. Walking up to the final location now, which is Dumper's Depot, and this is the final stop on our little trip around this social module. And this is probably what we'd call the scrap location. So you know, reclaimed ships are going to be here. You could probably buy spare parts for your ship, even small little items, and of course sell off your unwanted goods here specifically. I imagine this is more of a scrap location, and there's going to be more maybe high-end markets that you can go to and sell and buy things. This place is more of a, hey, it's broken, bring it here, we can salvage it, or hey, if you want some things that have been salvaged and, you know, recouped and improved, it might be second hand, it might be third hand, it might be almost brand new, you can probably get it at this place here. That's all the locations that we get to look at in this video. Some things to try and clear up. I believe this hub is actually going to be in the persistent universe as one of the main hubs on a planet. So you'll be able to actually go here in the full game when it is finally released in the persistent universe, which is awesome. So them designing this is not just some pointless feature, it's actually going to feature in the full game properly, so that's awesome. Another thing, now you may be thinking, is there a day and night cycle on the planets? Yes, there is. I believe the planet will fully rotate, so of course when the rotation hits where there's going to be less sunlight on you, or less starlight I should be saying, then of course it's going to be occurring when you're in the hub, and it will eventually go dark and go light. Maybe even nightclub life and nightlife will spark up when it gets night time, and maybe it'll go back to normal day business in the daytime. You never know, that could be the way it is. The planned release date for the social module is later this month, just before the FPS module drops the month after that. That's all for today anyway guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.